Today we're looking at the Fiero to try to see if we can figure out why the cooling fan doesn't come on when the engine gets up to an over temp condition. And so we're going to take the temp switch off and see if that's the problem. So what we're looking at here for this is for the V6 2.8. So there's a little sensor right down inside of there, if you can see it, where this connector connects to. And this is a pretty tough connector to get off. If you look at the end of it, you'll see you have to pinch the big sides and it'll expand it to pop it off. So it's kind of hard to get to, but best tool for that is if you get you one of these right here, these needle nose with the bent ends. You can reach right down in there and squeeze both sides and it'll pop right off there. So we're going to set the camera down and take this and see if we're actually getting a fan signal. So it's probably our sensor, or if we got something wrong with the wire. So I'm going to hook up a jumper and see if I can turn the fan on. Alright, so we're going to get us a little jumper wire, because all this thing does is go to ground. When that switch makes, it just goes to ground. So we're going to just get us a little jumper wire, and we're going to listen to see if the fan cuts on. So I got to turn the ignition on. But when I ground that, if the relays and everything's working, then that fan will cut on just by grounding that wire. Alright. So we got the ignition on. And maybe you can hear the fan or not. You'll just have to trust me, or I'll go up there and show you. So all we do is just find a suitable ground somewhere. So we're going to pick up one of these nice nuts. And I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but the fan cuts on. So we don't have a problem with the fan relay. Looks like we got a problem with the sensor. So pretty easy. A couple bucks over at AutoZone or wherever you want to go to get one, and replace this little sensor out. So I already picked one up. So right here is the sensor. It's the one that's got the mushroom head. Single wire mushroom head one is the one that runs your fan. So when it gets up to temperature, I think it's like 230 degrees, pretty hot. Once it gets on up there to where it's getting close to over temping, this thing will close, makes the ground, turns the fan on. So we're going to swap this little fella out and then start the car up and see. It's about a 10-minute job if you have the right pinchers to pinch that connector to get it off of there. So we'll go up here, I'll ground that and then show you the fan cuts on. So here I'm going to ground it, just ground it to a nut or something. We'll just set something on top of it. Hard to do one-handed. So with it grounded out, on comes the fan. So we know all the wiring is good. So let's pop this little fella out. Alright, so it looks like the tools we need is going to be, get around here I can read it. It'd be 13/16 is what fits that little guy. So we'll set the camera down, pop that out, put it back in, and we should be good to go. Let me just get the camera somewhere where I don't hit it. Take our wires loose. All we're going to do is reach down in here. Probably want to have your new one ready. It's a bit of a squeeze. And I'd say some coolant's going to come out. So we just want to make sure we're down on the sensor so we don't strip it. We're just going to yank him out. He's got a big fat head on him, so something's up with that one. A lot different than the one I got, but they should function the same, I would reckon. So this one The old one's got a big head, not sure what he's about. We'll look him up. Maybe that's the original part. And this one's got a shorter head, or a narrower head. We're just gonna slap him back in there. Might be handy to have a piece of something to stick it up, keep it up into the socket. We'll stick a little piece of electrical tape on him to hold him up in the socket. That way I can just slip it all down in there. Then I can pull that tape off once I get it in there. We'll just drop him back down in this little hole. Check and make sure it threads up right. Sure don't want to cross thread this little fella. Now all we gotta do is just crank him back in there. And it's got that self thread sealer stuff on it, so I wouldn't knuckle drag too hard on this thing, but get it in there pretty tight. Bam! Reconnect our connector, and we should be good to go. All connected up, so we'll fire it up and see what it does. And the fan's got on. Now we got a fan. Hopefully it's gonna cool itself back down. We'll sit here and watch it for a second. See if this little fellow starts cooling back off, and we'll know the cooling system doing what it's supposed to do. There she goes. Back down, down, down like it's supposed to. Let's see when the fan cuts off. And right there, the fan cut back off. Looks like everything's checking out. Our rich lean is going rich and then lean, so it shows we're in closed loop. So that means the temperature sensor to the ECU is good. This is our coolant temperature readout. We're reading 217 right now. Our gauge is reading much higher than that. So it looks like the temp gauge is off a bit. That's why when it's kicking the fan on earlier at about in the red zone, it's actually overstating the temperature a little bit. So that one is reading a little high. We can see we're going down here by what the ECU is reading, and we're okay. Keep climbing up, climbing up. We're at 227. The fan switch is supposed to cut on at 230. Our gauge is reading a little hot. That's why it's up in the red zone there. So the fan just cut on. So now we can watch the ECU temperature start dropping. Oxygen sensor is reading good. Lean, rich, just like it's supposed to. So it's in control. You see our coolant temp now that the fan's running. The gauge will start dropping. And we also should see the ECU temperature start to drop. Now we're going down, circulating coolant.